Hello everyone. The story unfolding around NIO right now is nothing short of remarkable, and if the latest hints are to be believed, this could very well mark a turning point that propels NIO's stock back toward the $50 mark. Recently, NIO's president revealed something shocking, a statement that could have massive implications for the company's future, for the EV industry at large, and for investors watching from the sidelines. This revelation revolves around the fifth-generation battery swap stations, which may soon become the universal standard for the industry. If that actually happens, it could transform NIO from being one of many EV players in China into the undisputed leader of a new energy infrastructure system. In this video, I'll break down what was said, why it matters so much, the timeline for rollout, the potential impact on NIO's business, and why this development has left analysts and retail investors buzzing with optimism. This is not financial advice. Please do your own research. The most shocking part of NIO's president's recent comments was his confirmation that fifth-generation battery swap stations are already being tested at engineering sites. These aren't just ideas or concepts on paper anymore. Real-world testing is underway. According to him, within the next 5 months, early next year, we'll begin to see these fifth-gen stations roll out publicly. That's not some distant future. It's practically around the corner, and if NIO pulls this off, it could completely change how the world views battery swapping as a mainstream solution. Why is this important? Because the fifth-gen swap stations are designed to be universally compatible. Unlike today, where battery swap infrastructure is often brand-specific or limited, these stations would allow a wide variety of vehicles and battery formats to swap, including NIO's 400-volt and 900-volt batteries, Firefly's future vehicles, ONVO's lineup, and alliance partners. The cherry on top. There are strong hints that these stations might also support CATL's chocolate battery packs. And if you know anything about CATL, you know they're not just another supplier, they're the largest battery manufacturer in the world. Before diving into why the fifth-gen stations are such a big deal, let's quickly look at the current landscape. A lot of people assume that NIO is the only company doing large-scale battery swaps. That's not entirely true. There are 2 other major competitors. First, you have alternative swap networks used heavily by taxi fleets. These are everywhere in Chinese cities. But while that sounds great, it comes with a problem. Those stations are packed with taxis, which makes them less practical for everyday consumers who want quick and convenient access. The second competitor is much more serious: CATL. As NIO's largest battery supplier and the global leader in battery technology, CATL has been building its own swap system, known as the chocolate battery swap. They're aiming to deploy over 30,000 stations in the coming years, which is potentially more than what NIO itself could build. Their batteries are smaller, modular, and already being adopted by several automakers. That makes them a major player in this race. This is where the excitement comes in. If Firefly, NIO's budget-friendly brand, ends up using CATL chocolate batteries, and those same batteries can also be swapped at NIO's fifth-gen stations, then the lines between NIO and CATL's networks blur. Imagine walking up to a NIO swap station and being able to swap a Firefly pack, an ONVO pack, or even a CATL chocolate pack. That would effectively make NIO's infrastructure the universal endpoint for EV battery swapping in China. Think of it like this. Right now, NIO's stations are like a gas station that only sells diesel. Useful, but limited. Fifth-gen stations would be more like a full-service fuel stop, offering every kind of petrol. That's what universal compatibility means. It's not just about NIO cars anymore. It's about becoming the default standard for any EV brand that wants to take advantage of swap technology. Now, here's another piece of the puzzle most people don't realize. A lot of NIO's existing swap stations aren't directly owned by the company. Instead, they're financed through a franchise model. Individuals with capital invest in these stations, NIO builds and operates them, and those investors receive a steady return. This model allows NIO to expand its network much faster without bearing the full financial burden. If fifth-gen stations really do become universally compatible, the attractiveness of this franchise model skyrockets. Why? Because the revenue potential isn't just limited to NIO owners anymore. Imagine being a station operator who can serve not just NIO drivers, but Firefly, ONVO, and potentially any car equipped with a CATL chocolate battery. That turns these swap stations into money printing machines. The more cars compatible, the higher the utilization, and the better the returns for both franchise owners and NIO itself. So, when does this all happen? NIO's president said plainly, in 5 months' time. Early next year, we should expect to see these 5th-gen swap stations go live. That's a very clear timeline, and it's not speculation. It's coming directly from the top. For investors, this is huge. Right now, NIO's stock has been stuck in a challenging range, weighed down by competition, economic conditions, and skepticism about EV adoption rates. But imagine the narrative shift once NIO is recognized as the company leading the universal battery swap standard in China, with CATL as a silent partner rather than a rival. That's the kind of story Wall Street pays attention to. If it plays out the way management hints, it's not unrealistic to think about NIO's stock making a run back toward that $50 mark, especially given the role infrastructure dominance plays in long-term EV adoption. Of course, NIO isn't stopping at 5th gen. There's already talk of 6th gen stations, which could be the true endpoint of swap technology. These future stations might refine the concept further, ensuring even smoother compatibility and perhaps officially integrating CATL chocolate batteries. If that happens, NIO won't just be a player in the swap market, they'll be the standard, the same way Tesla's charging port has become the de facto standard in North America. Once standardization is achieved, everyone else has to follow. Standardization is the key to mass adoption. Without it, you have fragmented systems that confuse consumers and limit scalability. With it, everything clicks into place. That's why Tesla's connector dominance matters so much in the US, and that's why NIO is pushing so hard to get there in China. If the 5th or 6th generation swap stations truly become the endpoint, the universal system for all swappable batteries, then NIO locks itself into a leadership role that competitors can't easily disrupt. So, let's bring it all together. NIO's president has basically confirmed that 5th generation swap stations are here, being tested, and just 5 months away from going live. These stations aren't just an upgrade, they're potentially the tipping point that makes NIO's infrastructure the universal standard. By being compatible with NIO's own models, ONVO, Firefly, alliance partners, and possibly even CATL's chocolate batteries, these swap stations could revolutionize how EVs operate in China. For investors, this development could be the spark that reignites confidence in NIO's growth trajectory. It positions the company not just as a carmaker, but as the backbone of a universal energy infrastructure. And if the rollout succeeds as planned, NIO's stock could very well begin its climb back to that $50 level or beyond in the coming years. The bottom line? The future endpoint of battery swap technology might already be within reach, and NIO is closer than ever to owning it. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more stock predictions and market insights. Remember to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Happy investing, and see you in the next video.